just more and more smoke, leading to the fire that is Keegan Bradley being on this team as a player.
Yeah, I think we're all expecting it at this point. And, Keegan, he knows he can't play poorly in the playoffs. Like, he knows he needs to keep momentum going. And if he continues to play well, he's going to be on this team.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Christopher Sanchez of the Philadelphia Phillies is one of 3 Major League Baseball pitchers to have a 7-start span featuring an undefeated record, a sub-1.5 ERA, 50 or more innings pitched, 50 or more strikeouts, fewer than 5 walks, no more than 1 home run allowed.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
One big problem for NBC, too many on-air cooks for the coverage, particularly on the weekends. Having 4 on-air teams separate time, divide the time, was really outrageous. You had Mike Tirico and his partner. You had Dan Hicks, NBC Sports' lead golf commentator, and his partner. You had Steve Sands from Golf Channel and his partner. And you had Terry Gann, who, by the way, if you don't know, is going to become an NBA play-by-play voice.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day on a terrific Thursday. Yes, Scott and Gabe back together again after I had some duties bringing the daughter to school, then bringing the other daughter back from school. Yes, life as a father. But we are back together for the next 2 hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching, analyzing, and, of course, betting on the world of sports. Baseball, little college football preview. Gabe and I will get into which teams we think are going to make the NCAA tournament and from which conferences. And Colby Dan will join us from the College Experience podcast. He does all the time. Give us his college football thoughts as well. We got Loud Esmond, do a little baseball, maybe a little NFL with him. And then a little UFC talk as well on a relatively light night game. We got a few baseball games. We'll do a little, 5 on the line. We got our SGP, little Black Cloud as well. We'll squeeze it all in. How you doing, my friend, on this Thursday night?
We're doing all right, Scott. Yeah, for me, the CFL game takes center stage tonight. And it could take center stage for a lot of people this evening. Lighter night on the Major League Baseball diamond. I don't know why the rhyme or reason the NFL didn't have a game or two tonight on Thursday night. Strange scheduling decision from the National Football League. But the CFL game kicks off in about 25 minutes, a little after 8:30 Eastern time. And it is available on CBS Sports Network tonight. So an opportunity for people to watch the game and watch us as well. I'll have some picks for that game. But, yeah, it's the calm before the storm right now, Scott. We're down with the baseball pennant chases, but college football regular season kicks off in 9 days. Like, it's around the corner. It's getting real. Next Saturday, the college football season starts. And there's a couple of teams that kick off next Saturday that I actually do like their season win totals. So I've got to get those in. Amazingly enough, because there's only like 4 or 5 games or whatever, but there's a couple of teams that I am betting their season win totals that play next Saturday.
All right, I got some interesting college football thoughts. They tweaked the system just a little. And there's a couple things I do and don't like, including one with the Big 12. I'm ready to make a bold prediction on that conference. So, do a little college football. We got the CFL. Yeah, it's a rare time where the NFL kind of dropped the ball. I mean, they know Thursdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays in baseball, every single week, getaway days, generally very light at night. Why they would not have a Thursday, since they had, a Thursday, bunch of games last week, why they would leave this Thursday open. And that is kind of weird. They don't, like I said, they don't drop the ball too often when it comes to open and promotion promotional dates, and they definitely did here. But we'll get to the CFL. We got that. At least, like I said, we got a few baseball games going on. Enough that we can squeeze in a couple of picks for our 5 on the line. 5 best trends, although tonight it'll be 3 with the one game we got going on in a little bit. All right, like I said, we only have the one game that's yet to get underway. No sense giving you trends for games that are already started, right? So we got Arizona and Colorado, though, and then Colorado's bad enough where we could find 3 trends for our 5 on the line. We'll start with their starting pitcher. How about Bradley Blaylock? His over-under strikeout total is 2.5, believe it or not. And you would think automatically, you got to go over 2.5. We got a starting pitcher doesn't get 3 strikeouts, right? In today's swing and miss world. Well, he's had 8 starts this year, and he's only had 3 strikeouts in 3 of the 8, 3 and 5. So if you're desperate for some trends, under 2.5 strikeouts, Bradley Blaylock. How about the game itself? How about Colorado? Colorado 11-3 over their last 14 games, including 6-0 over at home, which is where this game is. So it's a big number. Would I recommend betting it, specifically? Probably not. Over 12.5, though, is the trend, Arizona at Colorado. And then that leaves us with only one, the creme de la creme, coup de grace, numero uno trend for the remaining games tonight. And that's pretty easy, right? Arizona, look at that. Not only, listen, everybody beats Colorado. I get that. But, man, Arizona, 27-9. Over their last 36 meetings, Arizona is, including 6-1 their last 7. It's a no-brainer. You got to lay the juice. But trends, anyway, say our number 1 pick. Let's grab Arizona minus the 175 at Colorado. Big numbers tonight. I'm not necessarily in love with any of these trends, but if you like trends, these are the ways to go.
Yeah, you know what? It's down to about 70 cents right now as well. I got to be honest. I did have about as much interest in this baseball game as I did as watching like the Country Music Award show. Just basically I'll pass on it. Let it, It's amazing that the Rockies actually do draw 30,000 people a game.
They do.
Somehow, which is just... I have to believe that these numbers have to be somehow not real, but nevertheless, that's another story. So people are going to the Rocky games, and we actually talked about it. We talked about it on the podcast, like rhymes and reasons why they draw well, and there's a couple of reasons why. But yeah, Scott, I can't call you out or anyone out. And I brought this up last night. I bet the Chicago Sky Connecticut Sun game last night, and I said I could never call anyone else out for betting a dumb, degenerate game ever again. Because that was the low of the low, bro. The Sky and the Sun, Scott, and I bet it, right? So it's I can't ever take the moral high ground and say, can't believe you're betting on that Rocky and Athletic game. So I can't do it. And your numbers don't lie. What am I going to – I can't argue that, Scott. 27-9 is 27-9.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 worst teams, by the way, in the WNBA, and they had a brawl last night. So if you actually watched the game, you got a little entertainment if you're into that sort of thing. But
hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I'm telling you, the WNBA players they're nastier than the NBA guys are. They legit NBA players are competitive, but they kind of like each other. A lot of them are friends, and then we play on.
They're all hugging after the game.
Yeah, we got the same agent, same shoe deal, blah, blah. We're on the Olympic team. There's a few dudes that don't like each other in the NBA. But for the most part, it's pretty civil, right? It's competitive on the court, but civil. The WNBA, Scott, they could do a movie like Mean Girls and, redo it with WNBA players. They legit don't like each other. And there's a million little cliques, too, in the WNBA, Scott, that we won't even get into, right? But... there's a lot of different cliques in that league, and they all sort of clash, man. And one thing that is true, everybody hates the Fever. Every team just goes hard at the Fever. And the Chicago Sky, Scott, one of the reasons why they're not good, they're like a thug team. Whoever drafts this team, I like Cardoso out of South Carolina, really good player. She's not like an offensive player, Scott, like Angel Reese. Dude, she's going to give you 12, 14 rebounds. You can't score, right? So they have all these, and Angel Reese is hurt, but they have all these players. Haley Van Lith, She never should have been drafted in the first round when they took her. She's tough. So they take these like tough girls. They think it's a street ball game and they get lit up all the time. But I digress. WNBA tomorrow, Scott.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Listen, a WNBA fight in which didn't involve Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark is pretty rare these days. So,
and you see Sophia Cunningham.
Anyway.
Sophia Cunningham, who, if she wasn't attractive, nobody would give a crap about her opinion, right? She, hot blonde girl suddenly scores 5 points a game and she's got a podcast and whatever she says goes. She was crying, Scott, that the referees are giving Paige Becker special treatment. It's like, really? Wow. This is you're on the same team with Caitlin Clark. You're complaining, and if you watch Caitlin Clark, Scott, watch a Fever game when she doesn't play. She bitches and cries to the refs all game, just constant. It's just, like I said, there's a bunch of little rivalries, and they're not happy seeing Paige take over now.
All right, in-game live, game day just underway here on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one just underway. Just to recap our three plays with our 5 on the line. Normally we give 5, but there's just one game. And I don't want to give a trend out that's not really a trend just for the sake of giving a trend out. So we got 3. We got under Blaylock strikeouts because he only had 3 strikeouts in 3 of his 8 starts. We got over in the game. It's a fat number, 12.5. But Colorado on a monster overrun. And then we got Arizona laying the buck 71-75 as they are 27-9 their last 36 meetings against Colorado. So do have some other games, though, in progress. And we got CFL games. So let's hop to your CFL picks. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah, first off, too, Scott, I got a trend with the Mets. Their games are whack.
Okay.
There's your trend. Their games are on crack. There's your trend for the Mets.
Yeah, it's funny.
Last night we ended the show, Scott. It was 6-0. And I said, I told everybody on the show the last 2 nights, I was like, no. I said, the Mets games, and I was kidding. I said, man, I already lost my hair. I said, I'm going to lose my teeth if I start betting on Mets games. Like, I said, the Mets are nothing but stress. And then, Scott, word of no lie, last night I ended the show. I'm like, wow, the Mets are up 6-0. Even they can't mess this up. And then they did.
That's exactly it, man. I'd say thing, right? So I'm helping my daughter move from Boston College. She graduated, right? So I'm checking the scores, and I see 6-0 Mets. And you know, I told people to play them yesterday or 2 days ago and last night. I'm like, okay, another winner, good, right? And then I wake up next time I see, you know, it's the next morning, and I look at the score. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I see like the headline, Mets blow 6-0 lead. I'm like, no way they lost a 6-0 lead at home. And they blew it. They scored 9 runs in the 4th inning. Didn't take them too long. 5th inning, whatever it was. Unbelievable.
Most Met thing ever. Most Met thing ever last night following, the previous night with Alonso. And I brought it up, Scott. You and I talk about being surprised about baseball records. Kind of surprising, right? That no Met, like the 253 is all it takes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was surprised by that. And then I thought in my head, I didn't look at any list, but I was like, I don't know. They never really had big-time home run hitters, right? Beltran had a big year once or twice.
Strawberry would have been the one, but he didn't stay. You know, he obviously was, but he didn't stay there that long. That's the problem. He should have been a Met his whole career, but he pissed that away.
Yeah, the 86 team, too. They weren't really power guys. You know what I mean? Like, I was surprised Hojo. Hojo had 192 or something. Gary Carter wasn't really a home run hitter.
Yeah.
You know, Lenny Dykstra wasn't a home run hitter. Keith Hernandez wasn't a home run. Like, I was sort of thinking in, like, the Mets history. When I was a kid, Dave Kingman was on the team. Imagine Dave Kingman, who I thought when I was a kid sucked. I was like, man, this guy's bad. He strikes out all the time. Now he'd make like $50 million a year, Scott. Because it'd be like, wow, he hits 45 home runs. He strikes out 400 times. But, but as far as the CFL game is concerned, so like I said, guys, if you want to, keep your eye on this game. It is on the CBS Sports Network tonight. Trends here, Scott, for this. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 6-2 to the over in their 8 games on the season. The Red Blacks, listen, the Ottawa Red Blacks, guys, they have a very good offense. They've scored 77 points in their last 2 games. You'll like this, Scott. Just you're a trend guy, a numbers guy. Road teams in the CFL this year, 25-13 against the spread. Road dogs in the CFL this year, 15-7 against the spread. You know, the 25-13 is 68%, Scott. 68% road teams, ATS on the road. Road dogs, 15-7, ATS on the road this year in the CFL. This number, Scott, was like 5.5, 6 earlier in the week. And enough people bet the CFL that they know what they're doing. They move the number down to 4. I'm still going to bite at 4. I like this. I think it's going to be a close game. Ottawa's offense, man, I don't even remember. He wasn't a star at Oklahoma State, Scott, but he was a decent quarterback. Drew Brown, former Oklahoma State Cowboy. He's the quarterback for the Ottawa Red Blacks. He's very good, and he's been injured. He missed like 3-4 games earlier, and their offense sputtered without him. Now he's back, and they put up 46 last week, 31 the week before, whatever. Their offense is rolling. They spent all their money on wide receivers, so they have a bunch of stud wide receivers. They're going to put points up on the board, but their defense is bad. So the total's 52.5, 53, depending on when and where you're going to bet this. But we like this game to go over the number. I like Drew Brown over 295.5 passing yards for the hardcores. They're going to play some props, and I'll just throw a couple of quick touchdown props out there. In the CFL, when they get on the goal line, they bring in like a mobile quarterback. They don't really they don't give it to the running back. They'll bring in like the backup quarterback. So it's funny, Scott. You look at a CFL touchdown props in a CFL game, and you're like, how the hell is the backup quarterback the favorite to score a touchdown?
Right.
Because if they get on the 1 or 2, they don't want to get the star quarterback killed in these like short yardage situations, right? It's an 18-game season, so they bring in the mobile guy. So give me Dustin Crum to score a touchdown, former Kent State Golden Flash. Dustin Crum, -120 to score a touchdown. Nick Dembski, -115 to score a touchdown, wide receiver with the Bombers. And Eugene Lewis is a stud wide receiver, -110 to score a touchdown for him as well. Should be a fun game, Scott, with a lot of points on the board.
All right, there you go. That's interesting that they would do that. Rather than just give it to the running back. Even I can understand you want to protect the quarterback, so I get that. But all right, where's the running back then? You know, hey, coach, I'm standing back here. You know, let me do it from the goal line. You
There's like 12 QB sneaks a game, Scott. The thing is, in a CFL, one little like minute difference, like from an X and O standpoint, NFL football, they line up like face to face. CFL football, you have to line up a yard off the ball. So there's like this little, it's like the North Korea, South Korea, the war zone. Like, you know, the non-war, you know what I mean? There's this sort of like the neutral zone. There's sort of like this neutral 1 yard zone in the middle. And teams like on short yardage, they love that QB sneak. So they go for it all the time during the game and stuff, you know?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, how can you stop it if you're a yard off the ball?
Imagine trying to stop the tush push and the Eagles with that rule.
Yeah, right. They would just tush push all the way down the field. Forget about throwing the ball. Forget about it.
I think they could do that in the NFL, Scott. Like, seriously.
I do.
Like, they could pick up like 6-8 yards on these plays if they really wanted to.
Yeah. If you're giving them a yard head start, basically, right? The offensive line to go forward? Oh, absolutely. They probably could. They're at 3, 3, 3, and 3. There you go. 4th down. 4th and 1. They get it. All right, SG3 same game parlay coming up next.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1, third segment. You know what we do. Time for our SGP Same Game Parlay. I must say we've had some success with this. We hit one last week. We hit another one over the weekend that paid 20-1. In fact, it was this same series that we're going to use tonight, Arizona and Colorado, that we hit that fat 20-1 one. So let's hop right to it, right? Arizona and Colorado. We're going to start with Arizona. We'll get too greedy. Give me the minus 174 or so on the Diamondbacks to win. I won't lay the run and a half, even though a majority of their wins have come by 2 runs or more against Colorado, but we won't get greedy. We're going to go over 6.5 Arizona team total. Like I said earlier, I don't want to ask for 13 runs. You know, Arizona might be able to put 9 or 10 on the board all by themselves against this Bradley Blaylock dude, but, last thing I want is a 10-2 game, and we miss out. So if I think Arizona score a lot, I do. Let's just go with the over 6.5 Arizona team runs. Corbin Carroll, 1 RBI, minus 170. He's one of their best players. You just use the top of the lineup guys. You could really choose any of these guys. Arizona's actually playing fairly well of late, so we'll use Carroll to get an RBI. We'll use Marte to get an RBI as well. And this is the inning that we had last time that bumped up that 20-1. I won't get too greedy. That day we had them score 3 runs or more in the 5th inning. And that's the Arizona game, which they scored like 9 runs in the 5th inning. I won't get greedy again, but I will say Arizona will win the 5th inning at plus 2-1. That bumps the parlay, the FGP, up to plus 749. So Arizona over 6.5 runs, Diamondbacks, Carroll and Marte to each get an RBI. And then Arizona to win the 5th inning. Can't be a tie. You got to actually win that 5th inning. Just a little hunch bet. We used the 5th inning last time when we hit the 20-1, so we'll use it again tonight. And like I said, it pays about 7.5 to 1 game.
One thing I'll say, the Rockies did play well this week against the St. Louis Cardinals.
They did.
You're counting on this. You're counting on this trend. Like this is a pure trend. It's not like it's not any other counterpart.
What's the alternative?
Not like the
what's the alternative? Bet in Colorado?
No. I get it. I'm not arguing. You nearly had me sold when you were. I was like, 27-9 is 27-9. I can't argue. I can't argue the number. But as I stated, this is the classic. Now they're back home right now, but this is the classic. It's like a college football game. You know what I mean, Scott? When you bet like one of these MAC games on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and you have to answer no. It was like, would you be betting this if there was a full slate of games going on right now? Right. You know what I mean? Like if this was not the only game of the night, but, and some people accept it and say, all right, this is a recreational bet. It's not the smartest bet, but, it's the only game of the night and I want some action. I get it. But I'm not in love with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, Colorado, dude, like, baseball teams don't quit. We saw they were enthusiastic this week against the St. Louis Cardinals. You're getting plus 145 on their home field. It is kind of a toss-up, but the trend does speak for itself. I'll give you that.
I got to tell you, Gabe, first of all, this Cardinal team is dead to me. I will never bet them for the rest of the season. I don't care if they win 10 in a row and they're playing Topeka High. I swear to God, I will never bet them ever again.
They were the parlay buster of the week all week. People lost on them.
Of course. Do you realize not only did they lose 2 out of 3, not only were they shut out. I don't know when the last time the Rockies had a shutout, right? I mean, maybe it's happened once this year. They have actually lost 4 of their 6 games against Colorado. 2-4. Now, you're not going to win every single game. I get it. Fluky things happen. But they realistically should be, 5-1, considering Colorado's on pace to be the worst team in the history of baseball, right? If they were 5-1 against Colorado and not 2-4, you realize they'd be a game out of a wild card spot? As it is, they're only 4 out because the National League is so bad. But, I mean, it's just like they could be right there. They had them at home. You're losing 2 out of 3 to the worst team in the history of baseball after losing 2 out of 3 to Colorado a week ago. So you got that little extra incentive, that little, okay, we can't take this team lightly. And to lose 2 out of 3, and now they're 2-4 against them.
That's why, Scott.
Horrible.
You got to play the games. And it sounds cliche. And in some leagues, it's a little bit different. Right? The NHL teams, took advantage of it. All right, we're playing the San Jose Sharks. We're winning. Right? You know what I mean? There's certain leagues, but Baseball, you can't, Scott. Who the hell would have thought the LA Dodgers would lose 6 straight to the Angels this year? They got swept twice. Like, I know the Blue Jays beat up on the Rockies in the get well weekend, but it doesn't happen all the time according to script, man.
Really doesn't. All right, college football talk coming up next.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number one. Got a couple of baseball games. We'll get back to that in a second. The big night for college football talk. Gabe and I will go over a bunch of teams we think are going to make the college football playoff. And I do like talking to two different people. One that's smarter than me, but I just can't seem to find anybody that's smarter than me. So, but crazier than me. And that is our next guest, our good buddy Colby Dan, who you see here all the time here on the Grid, the College Experience podcast. Because he's got some crazy picks. I thought I had some crazy ones. Colby, I'll start with, first of all, welcome to the program. I'll start with your San Jose Sharks pick, if you will, the Spartans. You have winning the Mountain West, do you not? They might as well be the Sharks. Explain that one for us.
Well, I was just going to explain, there's two things here. I thought Ken Niumatalolo was a really smart hire by them. He's not running the option. He was there already 1 year. If you didn't catch the games last season, they were ahead of schedule. They almost beat Boise in one of the worst beats I've ever seen in football, where they were catching 2 touchdowns, had the lead late in the game, and managed to lose by 21. But they found their quarterback midway through the season last year in Walker Eaget. They returned 4 of 5 starters on the offensive line. It's the second year in Craig Stutzman's offense, which is, he's a June Jones, Nick Rolovich, spread and shred guy. The defense also, one of the things I liked about Niumatalolo is he retained DC Derek Odom. They're bringing back a decent amount on defense. And one of the things I like also is they've addressed the portal, I think, pretty well. Brought in a wideout from Purdue, brought in a wideout from Sacramento State that I think will be a difference maker this year. And then the schedule. The top 4 teams in the Mountain West a season ago were Boise State, UNLV. At 3rd place was San Jose State. At 4th place was Colorado State. Well, they don't play any of the top 4, considering that they're one of them, at all. So the schedule is really good. In fact, they play 6 first-year head coaches out of 12 games. Also, got to like the Mountain West because they host. The best record will host. So there's a chance that they could host the championship game. So I love their whole schedule, really, with the exception of that game at Texas week 2. But even with that, if Texas, they're not going to beat Texas. But I'm just saying, if Texas were to beat Ohio State, maybe that game might be a little chippier than you think you're in cruise control.
Yeah. Great observations as far as the schedule. I was just going to say, as far as the schedule is concerned, because it sounds like, San Jose State, but as you stated, there's not that many good teams in the Mountain West, right? There's a lot of average or less than average football teams. Boise are really good. I think UNLV are going to take a step back with Mullen. I don't think Odom did a great job in the big picture. Mullen's enjoying the free cars and interviews in Vegas right now. Like, reality's going to kick in soon. I'm not saying they fall off the face of the earth, so I don't think it's crazy. I like where you're going just due to their schedule. They have the talent, and it is interesting, too, that they don't run that option. They actually throw the football, and they throw it a lot. And their quarterback really adapted to the Mountain West. So I like the boldness of it, actually. You have me sold as a Flyer. But I should just I'll throw it out here, Scott, quickly. I do think Boise are still damn good. Don't fool yourself because Ashton Genty isn't there anymore. The next kid will, their quarterback is back. They're stacked. Their schedule is pretty manageable as well. Hell, I think they could beat Notre Dame even on the road potentially. So I got Boise, going to the playoff, but at plus 950, nice number right there.
Well, and here's the other thing, Cole. Let me ask you, because you've exposed kind of a flaw. Like, we all think the boys in Vegas are the smartest people in the world, and sometimes I have my doubts because the top 5 conferences get into the college football playoff with automatic bids. You probably have your automatic 4, but then you have the 1-5. So if you think San Jose State is actually going to win the conference, as you're doing, why bet them at 950 when you can get them at 40-1 to get an automatic bid into the college football playoff, right? I mean, that should be a lot closer, should it not? The 950 versus the 40-1?
Yeah, I actually like two sides of that. Just take them to make the playoff. Because to Gabe's point, Boise is Boise. But also, you can get plus 200 to play in the championship game, right? And that's where I think you circle, because I'm with Gabe. I think UNLV, I've actually bet the under on them for the season. There's just too many moving parts there. So I really think San Jose State's going to be in the Mountain West championship game. And to me, Boise should be favored in that game, but there's a chance it's in San Jose. So if it's on the Smurf turf, I don't think San Jose really has a shot. But if they can get that thing in San Jose, they almost got them last year. One of the craziest games. I'm telling you, if you watch that game, that San Jose was the better team. Actually, I was at Mountain West Media Days, and Spencer Danielson, Boise's head coach, even mentioned that. He mentioned that. He was like, Ken's team was incredible. I can't believe we were able to win that game. So why not take a shot on both those? And one of the things I like to do, and we can talk about this towards the end if you want, but you can parlay on DK just to get to the championship game, and there's some juicy stuff out there.
All right. More traditional. Alabama, you got winning the SEC.
Yeah, I think Kalen DeBoer was with, first off, I think when he inherited that, first off, there's a culture difference just between Nick Saban and DeBoer's personalities. I've had a chance to interview DeBoer before back, years ago when he was at Fresno, and their personalities, I think, couldn't be more different. So I think, first off, there's that. Also, Jalen Milroe, I don't believe really fits in what he likes to do. You look at his other quarterbacks with Michael Penix and Jake Haener, kind of drop-back quarterbacks. Also, he was without his offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, that had been with him since Sioux Falls. Grubb, took the Alabama job for like a week, then took the Seahawks offensive coordinator job. He got fired by the Seahawks. He's back at Alabama. I think that helps, and I think they have more traditional passing quarterbacks. I know they named the starter Ty Simpson, but even Austin Mack as well. And then you add in the rest, their receivers, their offensive line's growing up now. That Caden Proctor and those other guys are older now than they were. So the O-line, I think, will be one of the better offensive lines in college football. Jam Miller back at the running back spot. And then on the defensive side of things, second year at Kane Womack's defense, They got, I think they got 10 guys that are going to get drafted next year on that roster. So the schedule's really nice too, the way that aligns too. So mix both of those, I think, and Grubb returning, I think Alabama's going to roll this year.
One thing I'll say about Bama's schedule, though, there's some landmines along the way, right? There's some tricky spots on the road. Go to Georgia, September 27th. For me, guys, and this is my dark horse, guys, for the SEC and to make the playoffs, the Missouri Tigers. Like, it's all about schedule. You were talking about San Jose State. The Missouri, listen, people don't realize the Missouri Tigers have won like 21 games in the last 2 years, right? Like, they've won football games. They're pretty deep. They don't play their first road game until October the 18th against the Auburn Tigers. And they skip a lot of same thing. Like, they don't have to play a lot of these teams. They play Alabama, all right? And they play Oklahoma as well. But I'm just saying, guys, you look at Alabama, they go to Georgia, they host Tennessee, they go to Missouri, which I think is a tough one. Hell, South Carolina on October 25th, they host LSU, they host Oklahoma. You got the Auburn game where people think Auburn going to be better. I'm not positive, but that's the one thing I'll say. I think Alabama's schedule is full of landmines. And I'm not sold on Simpson at the quarterback position, personally. That's just my take.
Well, I mean, he's got to prove it to us, but he's more of a traditional passer is what, to me, it was just a bad fit last year from the start with Milroe. Was the point I was just trying to get across there. But
it wasn't his guy. Not his guy, Milroe, right? He inherited him, but he inherited Simpson as well. Not his guy either, right? So that's my point there, too.
Yeah, no, and
go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the things I like, though, it depends how the season shakes out. I like getting Oklahoma and Auburn that late because I think those coaches could be fired by then.
I hope so. I'm a Michigan fan because let's beat them on the 6th. That's a good start there.
Poor Oklahoma. Wow, how about that? All right, talking with Colby Dan, the College Experience Podcast. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll get some team win total over-unders. And I want to see which top 5 conferences he thinks will get those automatic bids into the college football playoff when we come back.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Spending a couple of minutes talking some college football. Colby Damp from the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. His show, the College Experience Podcast. Check it out at your favorite podcast stores. So talk a little college football here, Colby. And we were talking in the break there about the Big 12. I tell you, you could ask 10 college football fans who's going to win the Big 12, and you literally could get 8, 9 different answers. It is so balanced from top to bottom. It's got to be the deepest conference. Maybe not the best, but the deepest. So it brings up my point of, could you have a 3-loss Big 12 team actually not get in? Because I don't know who the other 5 conferences. You got to get the SEC champ, right? You got to get the Big 10 champ. You're going to get the ACC champ with either Clemson or Miami, I'm sure. Do you have 2 other conferences? And this kind of goes back to my San Jose State question. Like, if you think San Jose State's going to win, wouldn't they be the Mountain West one of the top 5 conferences? So you might as well bet them at 40-1 to make the college football playoff versus 9.5-1. But how do you view the Big 12? And is there a chance we could get a 3-loss Big 12 team in there?
Oh, I mean, I think there's certainly a chance you can get a Big 12 team with 3 losses. I almost feel like that's gonna happen if I had to place a wager to be in the Big 12 championship game. So that gives them a chance right there just to have a 3-loss team in there. But yeah, it depends how, like Boise, if Boise has another run, then in Boise's non-con, they're playing South Florida, who I think a lot of people have at the top of the AAC. Notre Dame's on there, as we mentioned earlier. Appalachian State, who's always decent in the Sun Belt. So those teams, if they fare well, I mean, I guess you could certainly make that point. And that's the one that's the name brand that I think they would go with. The rest, like San Jose, I don't know that they would take a 3-loss team with San Jose. If let's just say San Jose goes 10-2 or 11-1, I don't know that they would give them the credibility that they would get to be over a Big 12 team, because I think most people know the Big 12 is incredibly deep. So it might not have.
Well, hell, they'll be battling with the Sun Belt of the world, right? Let's just be real. Right, I mean, the American Athletics, the Sun Belts, you know what I mean, the Tulanes of the world.
Liberty will go undefeated probably, right?
They were a disappointment last year. Yeah, I know, but you're right, they could. Caden Salter, their quarterback's now at Colorado, actually. Just one quick thing. You were talking about schedule, Scott, and it is really whacked out. And it's not fair, but I guess life isn't fair. Right, but the SEC schedule is much more balanced than it used to be. It used to just be a clown show, and some teams had a free pass, and other teams had to really battle. But one of the reasons why I like Missouri so much, they're an SEC team. They don't play Georgia, they don't play Texas, they don't play LSU, they don't play Tennessee. As I stated, their first road game is against Auburn, right? They do play South Carolina, Texas A&M, and Alabama. All 3 games are in Missouri. So by SEC standards, Missouri dodged a lot of bullets. Let's just call it out for what it is. And that's what it's all about, dodging bullets. But like you said, Wetzel, you can't really dodge bullets in the Big 12. Pretty much everybody's pretty good every week.
Yeah. Give me some over-unders. You like over who do you got winning the Big 12, Colby, and then the over-under total?
I got Utah and Kyle Whittingham. Devin Dampier was a stud quarterback, ran for over 1,000 yards, was part of a top 5 offense at New Mexico last year. Well, him and his offensive coordinator from New Mexico, Jason Beck, who you might remember from Virginia when he had Brennan Armstrong rolling there, made the ACC championship at Virginia a few years back. They come into to Utah, and that was the one thing that was kind of lacking. I know the receiving core, kind of a bunch of no names, but I'm not worried about that because I think the dual threat capability, Utah's always got elite tight ends, and they got 2 first-round draft picks at the tackle spots. And then the defense. Morgan Scalley always has a great defense. I think it's a bounce-back spot for them, and they have one of the best home field environments to me. I think, that they'll probably go undefeated at home there just because of that place. I have them playing, but as far as who they're playing, I took a shot on a wild card on the Houston Cougars getting there. Just because I think Connor Wegman Connor Wegman was a big-time recruit by A&M. I was a guest at the University of Texas A&M a couple years ago back when Jimbo was there, and I got to catch him, and not only meet him, but also just see his capabilities against Ole Miss, a top 15 team. He looked really good. For whatever reason, it didn't work last season. He's at A&M. And I think he's a guy, though, that could really flourish under Willie Fritz. You saw what he did with Michael Pratt. So I took a shot on Houston. I think they have the easiest schedule, personally, in the Big 12.
The perennial disappointment year in, year out, the Miami Hurricanes. Are you buying in this year?
No, actually, I've already placed a wager on the under here. Look, they're replacing a lot. I know they're bringing in the new DC, which I like that hire of Heatherman, who was at James Madison or a couple years ago was at James Madison. Last year was at Minnesota. I do like that DC hire, and I think he will make that defense tougher, but I think the offense is due for regression with the receiver spot is a big question mark there. And then Carson Beck, really, I don't have him on the same level as Cam Ward. So I think they regress there. And then I think this year's schedule's a lot harder. And then, you have Mario Cristobal, who's, I think, probably the worst in-game managing coach there is. So
in football,
when you mix up, yeah. And then you mix in, like, to me, just the non-con of Notre Dame and Florida. They're both in Miami, but they don't really have a great home field environment. They're like an hour away from campus. And then to me, it's tricky also. They get Louisville there too. Last time Louisville played there 2 years ago, Louisville had that crowd.
There's a dark horse, guys. The Ville this year. Louisville's a little bit of a sleeper to some people. But what you said, too, about Cam Ward. How many times did Cam Ward, basically put the team on his back last year and/or running for his life, making plays? Their defense gave up 1 million points to get into these track meets. Carson Beck can't do that, right? He's the prototypical old-school, statuesque type quarterback. He's not going to be able to buy time, and the Canes had an awesome offensive line last year, and I don't know, like you said, things are going to break down for Beck. The offense definitely will not be as fluid this year, especially early in the season.
Real quickly, I wanted to bet over Vandy, and I think I still will. But, man, you talk about a tough schedule. Give me a couple seconds on Vandy before you leave.
Well, I mean, they got a 7th-year quarterback back. I'll take my chances. I love Vandy on the over with Diego Pavia. I think they win their non-con games. I got them winning at Blacksburg. Virginia Tech's kind of a mess, so give me that over.
There you go. Colby Dant, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. The College Experience Podcast is his home. Great job, Colby, as always.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Shut up, Dave. You know what I mean? Really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. He's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back to In Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. Thanks again, Colby Dant, for joining us. Check him out, the College Experience podcast. Colby joined us many times last year and probably will again this year, hopefully. Keep our fingers crossed. He knows his stuff throughout the college football season. So, that said, my bad. I meant to do this, guys, at 8:30 because the Black Cloud play of the day actually tipped off at 8:40, and it didn't take long. So we'll
so you got college football fever. You got college football fever. You got caught up in it.
we caught up in the fever. Sorry about that. But, well, Gabe and I talked about it, and we gave it to you anyway. I won't take credit for the win if it turns out that way, but we talked about Arizona, dominating Colorado. So our Black Cloud play of the day was going to be Arizona over Colorado. I say all this because they're already leading 3-0 as they head to the bottom of the first inning. So 3 in the first against Blaylock and the Rockies. Would I lay 3.5? No, I probably wouldn't do that. Would I lay minus 390? No, probably wouldn't do that. I might lay a 1.5. Let's see what FanDuel Gabe is offering us for a 1.5. Can't be too bad if it's 390 on the money line. I'm surprised that's a little low. Let me see adjusted lines.
I'm thinking opposite, where I just take Colorado plus the 3.5 now.
Or you can do that if you want to hedge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't take it. If you're on Arizona, you're in a hedge spot. But I didn't bet it before. But great start for them. But Colorado could get back into this. Lower start in the CFL game. I got caught up in our conversation too. We're midway through the first quarter, and it's only 3-0 there. But while you look at the odds, Scott, something you brought up what I think is true, and I think should be brought up again. Always sort of look, guys. If you're looking at the win total. Look at to make the playoff odds. Look at to win the conference odds. A classic example, the Michigan Wolverines. Their win total is 9.5 right now. And it's shaded to the over, like plus money. So, you're getting plus 120, plus 125 or so, whatnot, if you bet over 9.5 for Michigan. I guarantee you, if the Michigan Wolverines go 10-2 this year, they're in the playoffs. Right? Point blank. And so, Scott, if we know that, I would rather get plus 220 to plus 225 for Michigan to make the playoffs than to win 10 games at plus 125. You know what I'm saying? So I thought you made a good point. Always just sort of check. Same thing. I was like, you know what? I really like this Missouri schedule, Scott, and you agree. You look at it, you're like, man, these guys legit could make it to the SEC Conference Championship game. Like, they don't play a lot of the big boys all year, and they're a good team. They could get there. They're plus 700. You have a nice plus 700 hedge in your back pocket on SEC Conference Saturday if you want, right, to make the playoffs. But even though, you get to the SEC Conference Championship game, you're going to make the playoffs, right? Same thing with Baylor. Yeah. I think Baylor have a shot. Are Baylor going to win the Big 12? Maybe, maybe not. It's a wide-open conference. Anything can happen. But Baylor did win 6 games in a row last year in the Big 12 to end the year. And they're coming in with the same guys, and they're ready to go this year, Scott. Another flyer. Their win total is 7.5, so why not sprinkle on them to win the Big 12 as well and make the playoffs? So I like where you're going with that. I always sort of look at the multiple options.
Yeah. We always tell people, right, shop around. But as I always remind people, Gabe, sometimes you just need to shop around on the same site. There's different ways to, I hate this phrase, skin a cat, I'm a cat guy, right? But as I was telling with Colby, if you really think San Jose State's going to win the Mountain West, Mountain West is a pretty good conference. I think the Mountain West would be one of the top 5 conferences that get automatic bids. They would
get in the playoffs, for the most part, unless someone did something spectacular. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm going to bet them to win the conference at 950, I might as well bet them at 40-1 to get to the college football playoff.
You are right, too, about the same book and the same game. Like a Super Bowl. Yeah. You see with the Super Bowl, Scott, it's a good example. These books throw 400 stupid Super Bowl props at you. 200 of them are the same, Scott. They're worded differently.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, it's kind of the same. So you mean, okay. You just reversed it, and you have a different title for it. Right. But a classic example is, I don't know if you play 7-point teasers much in a regular season type deal, or teasers in football, okay?
Yeah,
you're doing a 7-point teaser. You're taking 2 7-point favorites. You get them down to pick them, right? No, I just need them both. Always check what's the money line parlay. Compare. It's not always the same, Scott. The same bet from the same book And you're like, wow, I can get an extra 18 cents if I play it this way, and it's the same bet. And you're like, well, why would they do that? And I always think, you know what? If you're an idiot and you can't figure it out, they don't care. Screw you. If you can, it's like a little treat for you, Scott. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's true. It's true. All right, more coming up in Game Live Game Day here on the Grid.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, Scott? Same bet.
I tell you,
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back. It is hour number 2 in Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe getting set for a little baseball. We got some little CFL action. We were talking some college football. We'll continue to do that. Hour number 2 here. Just want to update the scores here before we bring in our next guest, as the Nationals have actually taken a 3-2 lead over the Phillies, who are leading 1-0 and then 2-1. Top of the ninth inning, Phillies do have a runner on third base. Mets back and forth with
bad team.
Is it over?
Bad team. Yeah. Nationals, Phillies. That's my whole point. You can't assume anything in baseball at this time of the year.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the Phillies just own the Nationals. They have similar numbers like Arizona does with Colorado against the Nationals. Mets 3-2 over the Braves. I could bet on them. Listen, if you can't hold on to a 6-0 lead, there's no way I'm going to bet them leading even 3-2. So forget about that. Schoolville getting hit a little bit tonight, Gabe. Gave up 3, settled down 3-3 now. Tigers and the Twinkies in the 6th inning.
Didn't trust them as a minus 190 favorite tonight. I was betting, once again, Scott, repeat myself. Saw the Detroit Tigers and the White Sox this week. Gave them all they can handle, bro. I know, because I lost money betting on the Tigers, right? Like, I won, and they lost the next one, whatever. But like, as we stated, bad teams, man. Like, you can't assume, like, anything. Oh, look, this team's playing this team. They're going to win. You know, there's no guarantees in baseball. Like, just point blank.
Yeah, it's amazing. Another bad team is losing 3-0 to Arizona early on. That's good news for our next guest. Loud Esmond, hitthepick.com. Check out his site, hitthepick.com. What's going on, Loud? All over this Arizona-Colorado game, are you not?
Well, yeah, and the whole series, actually. So this is like a meteor shower or solar eclipse when you look at this 8-game homestand for the Rockies. When the weather is warm, when the weather is humid, when the wind is blowing out, there are more runs scored. That is not only because of just home runs being hit, it's also because of pitcher fatigue. It's because people are tired in the outfield, on the infield. They make more errors. You can look up studies on this. Just when the weather's hot and humid, more runs are scored in Major League Baseball. So Coors Field, obviously the number one scoring park in Major League Baseball. The Rockies have the worst starting pitching staff. When I looked it up Tuesday, they're at a 6+ ERA. They have the second worst bullpen at a 5+ ERA. The Dodgers, although they have been very cold lately, are still the number one RBI scoring team in Major League Baseball, number 2 in home runs. Diamondbacks, they gave up a couple bats at the deadline, but still number 4 in RBIs, number 6 in home runs. Every game in this homestand, except for one, is going to be above 90 degrees and above 40% humidity, and the wind is projected to be blowing out in 5 of the 8 games. So I would just, especially towards the end of this homestand, I would be all over the overs. But the question is, given that the last homestand, the runs scored per game were, get this, 33, 13, 14, 16, 16, 14, and 21. How high does Major League Baseball take these totals in the betting markets? How high did the books take them? That's what I want to know. Tonight, I got it at 11.5 yesterday. I think it closed at 12.5, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's up to 14.5 now. Still bet it?
Not at 14.5. My point is 12.5. The rest of this homestand, that's about where my breaking point would be. But you know what you could do is wait, maybe live betting until the line gets kind of crazy. Like if a couple more runs are scored early, and this goes up to like 17, could you take it then? Maybe I bet it back down. Gabe?
It's 15.5 now. It just popped up. I'm ignoring this game. I didn't take it. If I had to be honest with you, I would jump in on the Rockies. They're plus 4.5 right now. They're down 3-0. They've only batted once, right? So the Rockies can put runs up on the board. So that's the way I would look at this personally. But hey, great start for the total here. I mean, 3-0, and it should be noted the D-backs do have a runner on first base right now with nobody out as well.
All right, so hopefully some more runs are coming. All right, how about a little preseason football? We got a couple games tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, Wetzel.
Obviously unset. Was that?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Braves tied it already. There's that 3-2 lead, Scott. 3-3. It's not even fun. It's actually funny now. I was going to say it's not even.
It is.
It
funny.
actually is.
It is.
It actually is.
Yeah.
Because you just said, well, they're up 3-2. I'm like, no, not anymore. I'm just looked. I'm watching. And no, not anymore. Not a Braves. The Braves got really something going on, too. They just hit another double. So, yeah, 3-3.
This reminds me, Gabe, remember in Loud, one of the last years David Wright was there. They had a big lead, and they couldn't buy a win in September. Every single game, they were just losing crazy ways. It was about 6, 7 years
Scott, I just
ago,
saw the highlight. I don't know who it was. Where's Metal Matt? Metal Matt's the Met fan here. Dude,
yeah,
it was like a drunk softball outfield, man. Like, he just waved.
Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, no, Savannah Banana would have caught it, Scott, on his stilts. This guy, misplayed the angle. Oh, disaster. But sorry, go on.
Oh, wow. It's all falling apart. Who would have thought it? Who would have predicted on, August, what are we, the 14th, 13th, 14th, the Dodgers wouldn't be in first place, the Mets wouldn't be in first place, and the Yankees wouldn't be in first place. I mean, but that's sports. That's baseball, right? It's crazy as it is. All right, preseason football Loud. How about the little New England Patriots? Drove back from Boston yesterday, the last couple days up there. Boy, they are drinking the Patriot Kool-Aid. Oh, my goodness, they're going to the Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel's the greatest thing since sliced bread. How about New England versus Minnesota this weekend?
I do like them minus 2.5. By the way, the Diamondbacks just hit a home run, and it's now 5-0 in the second inning. So that over is looking good. I do like. I think Vrabel is trying to build a killer culture there. I just think that they will probably win that game. Overs were 14, 2, and 1, which is bizarre for the first week of preseason. Underdogs bit big last week, 12 and 5 against the spread, 10, 5, and 2 on the money line. So really a strange start to preseason. And as far as my theory of bad teams win a lot of preseason games, I had the Browns, Jets, Raiders, Colts, and Titans on my list. And I basically split. Browns plus 6.5 and the Jets plus 3-1 outright. The Raiders tied, failed to cover. Colts and Titans were unable to cover and both looked awful. So I like the Patriots minus 2.5. I don't see why the Colts are a 6-point favorite. I like the Ravens minus 1.5 at the Cowboys, which is my takeaway from week 1 of the preseason is, oh my Lord, do the Ravens look good. They picked up a couple weapons in the guy that was returning the kicks. I forget his name right now, and they brought back an injured running back and a new running back. And, the scary thing is the Ravens might be able to rest Derrick Henry most of the season because they have other running backs who can carry the load. And if that's the case, look out.
I don't mind that Ravens pick. I agree with you. And it's an anti-Dallas play as well. So that's kind of working out well. The Packers are probably because they know Jordan Love. So that's probably one of the reasons why. But I tend to agree with you on that one as well, Loud. No one should is a touchdown favorite in the preseason.
Most teams are not playing their starters this week. They've announced.
Yeah. We'll come back and talk more with Loud when we return here in Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Just to update Scott and Gabe the scores from baseball. Yeah, the Mets did it. You can count on the Mets. We should have been all over the Braves. Hopefully you were when the Braves had a 3-2 deficit. Mets led. Now it's 4-3 Atlanta. So just like that, the Braves have reclaimed the lead over the Mets.
There'll be more drama. There'll be more drama
sure.
in that game. It's a roller coaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, and I'm sure the fans will be ready to just kill that team, just crush the team, right? So Cleveland's blown it open against Miami 9-4. Detroit and Minnesota still 3-3 in the sixth, and then Arizona, as Loud mentioned, hit another 2-run homer, so 5-0 Diamondbacks over the Rockies, bottom of the second inning. 15.5 is now your total here in New York. So if you did the over 12.5, great. You did the over the 14.5. That's you're looking halfway decent as well. So talking some football, Loud has been hitthepick.com. So Loud, we got some over/under NFL team totals. We all love these things. We'll start with Kansas City. Which way you going on the Chiefs? It's 11.5.
Yeah, I'm over. So over the Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs. I used to be a Raiders fan. I hate the Chiefs. But I'm sorry. When you look at the schedule the NFL gave them, every really good team that they play, they get them at Arrowhead. Every crappy team that they play, they get them on the road. It's just amazing how that schedule just happened to work out for the Chiefs. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce setting records in podcasts. Yeah, I'm sorry. Great. The Broncos are going to be great. The Chargers are going to be better. The Raiders are still going to suck. I'm sorry. I am not betting against the Chiefs winning that division and getting home field advantage until somebody proves me wrong.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd like to argue with you, but it's 11.5 and it's plus 110 odds. I mean, is someone 6 teams going to beat them? I don't think so. Right? Which they would have to go 11-6 to go under. So I like that. Chicago Bears 8.5. Where are you going with this one?
Under, because I'm just not sold that Caleb Williams is going to be a really good NFL quarterback. I didn't like him coming out of college. I didn't like him what I saw last year. They haven't put him in a game this year. I'm not hearing great things out of camp. He's got a long way to go, and it's a tough division. You've got the Lions, you've got the Vikings, you've got the Packers. They are going to be the worst team in that division. They got a new head coach. It's a whole new system. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I don't see how they get over 8.5 in that division. I just can't see it.
Mm-hmm. That's really kind of a Caleb Williams, right? Basically, if you like Caleb Williams, you bet the over. If you don't, Gabe, you bet the under, right?
I don't know if it's so much Caleb, but what Loud said, it's a tough division. Detroit are an elite football team. Minnesota are going to be very good again. Minnesota's win total's 9.5. And Minnesota aren't nowhere near as many question marks as the Chicago Bears do. People are just assuming that Ben Johnson is the new Bill Walsh, Scott. Really? Okay. I've seen this script before. The hot shot coordinator is always the hot shot coordinator until he's a head coach. And then they're like, he's not really a good people person, and he's kind of a better coordinator. A.K.A. McDaniel, Miami, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not. I'll agree. KC, I think are a little vulnerable, but I agree with you guys. Like, are they? I don't see 6 losses either, as much as I'd like to. Like they do go to Buffalo, but a lot of their tough games are at home. So I can see. I can't disagree with that. And similar situation on this. I'm not in a hurry to be betting that the Bears have a winning record this year, so I can't disagree.
Yeah. What about the Saints, Loud?
They are possibly going to be winless. The Saints, I'm way under 5.5 after the loss of Derek Carr. Such a great quarterback for that franchise.
Spoken like a true Raider fan.
No. Yeah,
the legend.
No. Ex-Raider fan. No, I just don't. What do they have? They're not great.
Well, cut to the chase. They're going to be the worst team in the NFL. The Saints, they're going to be the worst team in the NFL. Yeah. And you can get that at plus 400 right now. I think that's the bet. I agree with you, Loud, under 5.5, but I would just sort of compound it. I don't know if they go winless, but Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck are their quarterbacks. Kellen Moore is in place. He's not on any hot seat. They're going to want to be bad and stockpile draft picks. So they're going to want to lose games, actually.
Yeah, and that Saints team has needed a rebuild for 5 years because of their salary cap situation. So I think
your boy Derek Carr was holding them down. I'm just saying.
It's always Derek Carr's fault. Always. You guys, always on Derek Carr. No, I think the Saints would be a good bet to be the last winless team in the NFL, and a good bet to be the worst team in the NFL, and a good bet, therefore, to have the number 1 draft pick. So, yeah, there's a lot of things you could bet on the Saints right now, and none of them are good.
All right.
But, hey, the Beignets are wonderful.
Yeah. How about the service academies in college football? What do you have for us there?
I think there are a number of interesting trends with the service academies. Obviously, Air Force is in the Mountain West. I think Air Force is going to be great this year. Army and Navy in the AAC. The AAC is terrible. I think either one of those teams to win the AAC is not a bad bet. The trend was actually to the over for both Army and Navy last year, which is strange because they've been under teams for forever. However, it's still an 80% bet when service academies play each other for the number to go under in the total of the game. And here's an interesting one. Service academies as huge dogs are really good. They are combined 41, 11, and 1 against the spread when facing opponents that are favored by 21.5 or more points. So if you see a service academy team that is a huge underdog, they're a good bet.
Yeah. You won't see that, maybe Air Force. I think Air Force is going to be, I disagree with you on that one. I think Air Force is going to suck this year. But Army, Navy,
we'll see.
HitThePick.com is the site for him.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. Let's turn our attention to some baseball before Gabe and I get back to the college football scene here. I tell you what, Gabe, I'm not a big fan of mid-season trades to begin with in baseball, but I'm especially not a big fan of when you pick up relievers, even sometimes closers on these teams. Case in point, Ryan Helsley with the Mets. Since they got him from the Cardinals, he has been awful. He gave up another 2 runs tonight. So in 7 appearances for the Mets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 6. In 6 appearances for the Mets, he's given up runs in 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and he's given up 7 runs in the 6 games. He's only had 1 outing out of the 6 that he's actually had 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, he's given up runs, he's given up hits, and he gave up the lead again tonight, giving up 2 runs in the 1 inning he pitched, 4-3 Braves. So
he's not alone. It's a good point that you bring up, actually. Look at Brock Stewart gets brought back to Los Angeles. Been terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, same thing. And you would figure, and look at trades, Scott. You and I talked about Devers a lot and his struggles. Suarez, it's funny, like yep. Suarez didn't complain about moving positions, so people don't talk about him. He's not a diva, Scott, and doesn't suck. You know what I mean? Right? Like the narrative of a player will get attacked, and it's like, yeah, Suarez has like 3 hits since he's become a Mariner, hey guys? Right? Like type of deal.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, though, you're a good observation as far as the relievers. Is it the catcher, Scott? Because you would figure, too, like, baseball is the one sport, bro, that is technically, you would figure, Scott, the easiest to go to a new team to. What are you doing different if you're Suarez? Like, I'm grounding balls and I'm batting. What does it matter who my teammates are in the dugout? Like, you know what I mean? Or like what color jersey I'm wearing. I'm facing the same big league pitchers I've always faced, right? Like, there's nothing different about it, yet it seems to mess with them. Right? Like, look at hockey, Scott. You drop a guy on a hockey team, he's flying around hitting people. Look at Marchand with the Panthers. Guy fit in 2 days. Oh, yeah, hey, guys. Yeah, I'm like, it's like a Panther for like, you know what I mean? Like, they just sort of, in hockey, hey, I'm here. I'm part of the team now, guys. It's like, and it just somehow works. NBA is always tricky. I want the ball here and there, but it's not this like, man, I went to a new team and I can't hit a shot anymore. It's really bizarre in baseball to me, Scott, how guys struggle when they go to new teams mid-season. Not like off-season, mid-season, like you said.
Right. I mean, look at the Yankees. I mean, not to pick on the Yankees here, but all those Yankee guys, they all suck. One guy was sent to the minors
they
already.
Demoted the dude they traded for, Scott. You're right. They traded for a guy. You imagine? Like, that's a bad look, Scott, if you're Cashman to me. Will you pick up a guy at the deadline and a week later you assign
He's in the minors.
And it wasn't like a plan. It was like, no, we thought he was good. It wasn't like, no, he's part of the deal and we're just writing off the contract, sir. It's like, no, you know what? I actually thought he was good and he's not. Like,
the only thing I can point to, Gabe, is it just shows pressure situations. And it's just a different level. Is that? I mean, Helsley he's been the closer for St. Louis. Suarez.
I do think, Scott, that the catcher plays into it a bit, bro. I do think that there's a comfort zone, right? They get thrown off, but like another thing I don't understand too is if you're a reliever, you're only throwing a couple of pitches too, so it's not that complicated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really get it. It's like go throw 100 miles an hour, bro. Like, it doesn't matter what team you're on, just go throw 100 miles an hour at home plate.
Yeah, and like you said, you're not. Some of these guys have pitched in both leagues anyway, and now with interleague play, you faced all these guys. They all have books on you. You have books on them. So with that, can't be the excuse. In the case of Helsley with the Cardinals, he's going from the National League to the National League, so that wouldn't be used there anyway. So, but man, he's been nothing short but of awful for the Mets. Cleveland is leading 9-4. We got that. Going to the 8th inning, not a great outing by Skubal to start, but he did settle down. He's still in there as far as completing the 7th inning. Let me see if I doubt I'll go out there for the 8th. Although 99 pitches, 3-3
Sweeter, they got the Twins. Can't beat the Yankees. I know they beat them once in the series there, but right back to normal, battling the Tigers now. It's like it's just this Yankee phobia that they have.
It's crazy. Yeah, they took 2 out of 3 in Detroit last weekend. So Skubal only 3 strikeouts. So if you're sitting on his over 6.5 strikeout prop, you're not going to get that, barring a minor miracle here. So, yeah, 3-3. I still don't know what to do with this Detroit team. I'm not really buying into them. I wouldn't lay the odds now. You're probably going to get a reliever. If anything, I'd take the Twinkies.
I like Seattle or Houston in the West for the World Series, or even Toronto more than them.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, game day here on the grid on this Thursday evening, hour number 2. Scott and Gabe till 10 p.m. Eastern time. Got a little baseball. We got a little CFL. We got some UFC this weekend as well. We'll touch on it all with our next guest. Check out all his work. Covers.com, great gambling website. If you're a gambler, you need to see Covers.com. That's Rohit Panea. Rohit, Scott, and Gabe, we were talking a little CFL action. We got 3 on the board from our Winnipeg Ottawa Red Blacks game. We got the 17-3. Things not going quite as you expected in this one, but still in time to bounce back. What do you have in this contest?
Yeah, I mean, I had the Red Blacks team total over, which is looking pretty terrible. But, I mean, you look at last week, and things can change in a hurry in the CFL, so I haven't lost all hope. But it's not looking great right now. But, I mean, this Bombers defense has just been so bad this year. Blown coverages, tackles, got some new players in the secondary as well. So I really thought it was a good spot for Drew Brown to have a big game, but he hasn't done much so far.
I bet Drew Brown over 295.5 passing yards tonight. And as you stated, it's been kind of anticlimactic. But they just came up with a stop, guys. They just moved the ball down the field. They kicked the field goal. They just got the Bombers a 2-and-out. They're getting the ball back. And in-game total, guys, is 51.5. Hell, it closed at 52.5. So we're really not all that far off the pace. I know for your team total, you want to see some points coming here, but you saw it last week, Rohit. This Ottawa team could flick the switch with their offense.
Yes, sir. And I mean, that's the thing, too, in the CFL. Like, totals can change so quickly. We've had so many turnovers, especially from the Bombers this year. And with those turnovers, you get good field position, you get touchdowns going the other way. get a lot of returns for touchdowns too. So this could turn around in a hurry. So I'm not completely dead on my bet yet, but like I said, not looking too great right now.
All right, it's not over till it's over. That's for sure. How about a little UFC action? We got a pretty good middleweight fight this weekend. Where are we going with this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird when you look at the odds for this fight because we've got a guy in Dricus du Plessis who is in the prime of his career, well-rounded fighter, proven champion, and he's coming in at plus 200. I can't remember the last time I've seen a line like this, but Chimaev's just been so dominant in his career. I do think his grappling is just going to be too much for him. I mean, Chimaev's grappling is just on a whole other level. Du Plessis hasn't really faced any guys that really rely on their wrestling over his last few fights. Last time was probably Derek Brunson. Brunson took him down. Brunson flattened him. Actually had his back for a bit. And we've seen these moments in his fights where he kind of just loses control a little bit. He gives openings to his opponents. And if you give an opening like that to a guy like Chimaev is going to get the finish. He's just so clinical on the mat. Great transitions to subs. Fantastic ground and pound as well. And he's just relentless with those takedowns. So I like Chimaev to win here. Not a huge fan of the money line price. But if you get Chimaev to win inside the distance, you're getting about minus 130, minus 140, which I think is pretty good value.
It's amazing. It's crazy, Scott, that as he stated, du Plessis is the champion, Scott. It's rare that the champion is a plus 200 underdog, right? But that's how good this Chimaev guy is. And what's scary, Rowan, is, and I've learned over the years not to watch the countdown shows and try to stay away from the outside hype because it can get in your head. It gets in fighters' heads even, and you can start to overthink things. And I tried to I was like, man, I'm getting Dricus at plus 200. This guy's a badass. He's an awkward fighter. He's tough as hell. You can't mentally break him. And then I see Chimaev's workouts of him striking, and he's added striking to his game. I'm like, oh, God. This guy's just – I don't know if you saw the clip of him picking up Daniel Cormier at the hotel. Yeah. Scott, Daniel Cormier is one of the greatest heavyweight UFC fighters anywhere. And he's a chunky dude now, Scott. He likes to eat. He's a bigger dude now, Cormier, right? He's built like a little rhino. Chimaev they started playfully wrestling. Hey, how you doing, buddy? And they started playfully wrestling. Chimaev picked him up and started swinging him around like a child. And I was like, oh my God, what's he gonna do to Dricus if he's doing this to Cormier in a parking lot? You know what I mean? He's just a scary dude, man. But I like the over 2.5 personally. Anything on the undercard that you like? The Murphy Pico fight or Prada's? Michael Venom Page and Cannonier's a fun one.
You know what? I was really hoping that we'd get a better number on the over 2.5 rounds in Cannonier, Michael Venom Page, because both the guys like to strike. Venom Page has some flashy knockouts. Cannonier has a ton of power as well. But I figured this fight was going to go the distance probably because both these guys can be a bit hesitant at times. But books are on to that now. The odds for this fight to go the distance are minus 300, so no value there. I do like Lerone Murphy as an underdog though. You're getting about plus 150. Plus 140 depending on the book, taking on Aaron Pico, who's a guy that has a great wrestling background, really good boxing as well. He's coming over from Bellator though. We've seen a lot of these Bellator guys come over and struggle in their UFC debut. He's taking on a guy in Murphy who's really well-rounded. Not the greatest takedown defense, but he has a good ability to get up, good ability to scramble on the mat. He can avoid takedowns by kind of backing away and firing those strikes at range. And he's proven against UFC guys. I mean, this is a guy knocking on the door of maybe a championship fight. And, taking on him on your UFC debut is a really tough ask. And, him being installed at minus money, that's pretty weird for me. So I like Murphy at plus money there.
I like where you're going with it, Scott. It's an interesting angle. As he stated, Bellator is another company. And they don't exist now. But, they were another company before. And when their fighters come into the UFC, Dana White doesn't want to see them win, right? Because it makes, it's they should have been in the company earlier. Or, oh, look, he's as good as the UFC guys are. Dana loves hey, look at these Bellator guys. Couldn't even beat one of my journeymen. But they're evil, Scott. They pick tough-ass dudes that they know will be a stylistic bitch for the other guy. You know what I mean? Because they, unless they think you're a star, they'll baby you like a Michael Chandler. All right, we think you're a star, so we don't want to get you beat in your first fight. And Rowan, Murphy was a replacement. Pico was supposed to get a more of a wrestler guy, that he was a better wrestler than. And now Murphy's well-rounded. So it's a tough fight for Pico.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones where the plus money just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I thought we'd get closer to a pick 'em here. And yeah, I love Murphy in this spot. Plus, plus 150 is great value.
All right, what about Chase Hooper and Alexander Hernandez?
Yeah, I mean, this one's just, a little bit of an easier handicap. I mean, Chase Hooper, I think, is just a, really good fighter, up-and-coming young guy. He definitely had some challenges earlier. But in terms of just skill set, I mean, it's night and day between these guys. Hernandez, I don't rate very highly at all. He's a guy that's got some finishing ability in the first round, then he fades. Nowhere near as good on the mat. Hooper has some fantastic grappling ability, lots of submissions on his record. So nothing crazy here, but I think Cooper manages to take him down. Probably not the first round, maybe second or third round, but I think he gets the sub eventually. And you're getting close to 2-to-1 odds at that. So nice little payout for the favorite to win by submission, which is really his method to win choice.
You got a parlay for us, too, before you go?
Yeah, definitely. One quick one. A couple of favorites here, too. Carlos Prates, Jeff Neal. I'm backing Carlos Prates on the money line. Also backing Kai Asakura on the money line. I think Kai is just going to be a little bit too quick, a little bit too fast for the guy he's facing. You look at some of these matchups, and you've got these old guys facing off against younger guys. And, Asakura's facing off against Tim Elliott. He's an older guy. He's more of a wrestler. But he's not as sharp as he used to be, and Asakura can really crack. And then we've got, Jeff Neal, who's also kind of a journeyman, kind of on his way out necessarily. Still a good fighter, but, he's taken a lot of damage in his career, not as fast as he used to be. And Prates is a guy with a lot of knockout power, coming off a loss, but he, almost picked up the knockout win at the end of that loss against a contender in Ian Gary. So not something I'm going to knock him a ton for. So I like both those guys to get the win. A little bit too rich on the money line price. But if you parlay the two of them together, you're getting minus 120, so close to a pick-up price there.
One thing, Scott, with MMA, following social media can really help. Fighters post things about themselves. I've known Tim Elliott for years. He's an older fighter right now. Rowan, he posted a picture of himself putting on gloves. He goes, I figured I'd work out at least once before my fight. I was thinking, oh, yeah, great stuff, Tim.
Thanks, Fred.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for it.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. It is a Thursday, limited baseball, couple of games still going on. I'll take a peek at those here in a second. Also delve into a little college football, a little MMA. Why not? Full service operation, along with the CFL, which we did add another field goal. So as far as the over/under is concerned, it's now 22-3.
And they're getting the ball, Scott, right now. They're getting the ball. Like, dude. It's just not clicking, Scott. Like, they're throwing bombs and it's nearly being caught, but it isn't. They just need, one big play to sort of, and the dam will break. But they're going to have good field position here right now. They're catching the punt here right now. Whatever. They have the ball like their own 40 or so. But they have 2 minutes. It's a lot of time in the CFL. Let's make this thing 20-10. We're right on pace for the over, but I want to see Ottawa get back in the game.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's still 51.5, so it's not far off, like you mentioned before. It's still not far off the 52.5, so they're fully expecting some more points out of Ottawa, right? They're obviously not counting on Hamilton, or Winnipeg, rather, to get all of them. So, yeah, 14.5. They just lowered it to 14.5. I might take a little flyer on that. Get double digits.
I would. I've got a teaser, Scott. I got the Red Blacks plus 11 over 46, and I'm not panicked about it. I just like to see a score. I just want to get back in this thing, right? Make it 20-10 right now. Ottawa are used to coming back, dude. Like, this is what they do. And for people, and see, they just incomplete pass on first down. But for people that are jumping in, not in on the game, for in-game, not a lot of baseball going on tonight, I would say, and I'm personally going to jump on the over again. Because even if, let's say, Winnipeg pulls away a bit, Ottawa won't quit, right? We might not win the Ottawa side of things, but I think we're going to get to 52 in this game.
Yeah. I will say this, that last Ottawa game aside, Gabe, I've not noticed, if you ask an American who just casually follows the CFL like I do, right? Well, the number one thing that pops out, overs. Oh, yeah, overs. It's always 35-30. I've not noticed that as much this year. Is that just me?
No.
Maybe it's just I'm looking at the wrong games, or is scoring down a little bit in the CFL this season?
No, it's funny because some games, the books are sharp with everything, Scott. It's funny you say that because last week they were 3-1 to the over. They went 46-42 games, whatever, 31-28, whatever. There was a bunch of high-scoring games. But overall on the season, coming into tonight, 19-18 to the under.
Yeah.
19-18. Yeah. 51% to the under. So, it sort of balances out. You have higher totals in the CFL, though, right? Like 53.5, 54.5 is kind of typical in this league.
Yeah. What are you doing this weekend? We'll get into college football here in a second, but are you going to look towards over or unders in the NFL with that 14-2 mark from last weekend?
No, you know me. I'm a hipster, Scott. I'm going to be looking for the unders. I'll be Captain Contrarian this week. There's a lot I've noticed. I don't know dude, I think they put more stock into the joint practices nowadays, Scott, the modern coach.
Right.
They don't care about these games, right? So, like last week, sort of led to overs. Yeah, whatever, dude. Let the kid do what he wants. Throw it, run it. You know what I mean? Do what you want. I think it's sort of like this week, and I was wondering, because we're kind of earlier in the week, but a lot of teams have announced today, Scott, one by one, we're not playing anybody this week. We're not playing anybody this week. And I sort of get this feeling, and we're not overemphasizing, whether starters play or not, but I get the feeling it's going to be more vanilla this week, Scott. A lot of running, quicker games, teams wanting to get in and out. The regular season's getting close where it's like you're looking at we're playing a real game in 2 weeks, guys. So, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I just sort of see the vibe changing. Like you talked about it last week. Everyone's excited the first week. Hey, even the players. We've been in camp. I got a uniform. We're in a stadium. I'm excited. I could see it being more, let's just get the F out of here this week.
Yeah, I agree. And the numbers are up quite a bit from this week to last week. Last week we saw a lot of 32s and 33.5s, right? Now you're seeing 37.5, 38.
Yeah. Remember you and I debated the Seattle game ad nauseum last week. What, 36, 37? Right. Now they're 40.5s and 39.5s across the board pretty much.
Yeah. And a lot of those games last week, like you if you were an over bettor, you caught every break in the book. I mean, like 20-point fourth quarters. There were some that were just going over no matter what, but you caught a lot of breaks with the overs, including that Raider game, right? I mean, you don't generally get that week after week. It kind of balances itself out. So, I do think it's going to lean towards the unders this week. I do.
And also this week, guys, you'll notice, so I'll just throw it quickly, you'll notice this week.
Yeah, sure.
teams are going to be reluctant, Scott, to even play their second-string quarterbacks now.
Well, you see news all around, with Sanders being hurt. Coaches hear that stuff, and it's like, all right, you know what? That's the last thing I want.
Exactly. They already know they already know their rotation in their heads. They already know what they're doing. Yeah. And they're all like, I'm not getting my second-string quarterback hurt, right? I can't. I just can't do it. I won't have a backup like in 2 weeks when we're playing for real. Like you'll notice, I've noticed that's the trend. A lot of teams this week said, yeah, it'll be the third and fourth string guys the whole game, the quarterback. Like, I think Joe Milton's playing the whole damn game for the Cowboys this week type thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, think about it. Who do you got? You got Jordan Love already hurt. You got Anthony Richardson hurt. You got Matthew Stafford hurt. You got
look how
Sanders
good Trey
hurt.
Lance's look, Scott. Trey Lance's look great in his 2 games. If you're the Chargers, I'm putting him in bubble wrap right now. I'm like, hey, you've done enough. Hey, Trey, you made the team. Congratulations. You're the backup to Justin Herbert. Like, congratulations, Trey. And by the way, you're not playing again, like ever again. Like, it's so sort of Scott in Harbaugh's mind. Imagine that. Congratulations, Trey. Like that call, like you come in. Trey's going to come in. Harbaugh, hey, Trey, you really exceeded expectations. I believed in you. Great job. You made the team for real. We're going to offer you a con. You know what I mean? You made the team. And you've made the team hoping that you never play. Like Harbaugh, because that means Herbert's hurt. Right? It's like,
that's it.
We hope you never have to play, but if Herbert gets hurt, you're our guy. Right? So that's still a big responsibility.
Yeah. Listen, the minimum contract in the NFL is almost $1 million, after your first, 5-year contract is up. 800, we looked it up this week, $880,000 or $870,000. Not a bad way to make a living, holding a clipboard, You just hope the starting quarterback doesn't get hurt, and I'll keep on making that $1 million.
Lance got like $4 million, I think, per too. Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's making even more than that, obviously.
Dude, Baker Mayfield did the same thing, Scott. He got exiled from Cleveland, bounced around the Carolinas of the world, the Rams. He only made 4 or 5. He's making 50 again, 45, 50. You can bounce back in the NFL.
Amazing. All right, more coming up.
We all know nothing beats the energy of playing live roulette in a casino. But playing roulette online sure does have its perks. At the casino, you'll average 40 to 50 spins per hour. But online, you're looking at 100 to 150. The more spins, the more chance of wins. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
He said that was his decision, not a smart baseball play. Like, shut up, Dave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really. If Ohtani wants to steal third base on his own, let him steal third base on his own, bro. Like, he's Shohei Ohtani. He made the call. He was wrong. He was out. Okay. I wouldn't have called him out for him.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Fast 2 hours, even though there wasn't that much going on, but that's okay. A couple things we put some shekels on, including my SGP, which not off to a bad little start. Arizona scored 2 more runs. It's now 7-0 Arizona over Colorado. So we got the over team total Arizona in the bag. That's 6.5. We got Marte to get an RBI. He had a 2-run double, I think it was. So he's got that. I did an RBI at a Carroll. Arizona's more than likely going to win the game. So the biggie really is Arizona. I got to have them win the 5th inning. Too bad the 4th inning wasn't the 5th inning because they scored the 2 runs in the 4th. So
that's the random one all the time.
Yeah.
That's what makes it the big payday.
You know what it is? I hit the 20-1 one last week using the 5th inning. So if I used another inning tonight and the 5th inning came through for me again, I'd be like, what am I, a dope? So I had to go back to the 5th inning. So interesting bet you found on one of the sides. I think it was Bet365, Gabe, about how many teams each conference will put into the college football playoff. We'll run it down. I mean, there are a couple of quirks. There's 5 automatic bids. The 5 best conferences get the automatic bid, and then there's 7 at-large bids, so 12 overall.
It is a fascinating. I was just sort of going through every potential prop and bet, and this one caught my eye and originally sort of jumped off the screen at me, in which I automatically, Scott, was thinking, well, the Big Ten's going to have 4, and the SEC are going to have 4, but are they? Right? Are they? Like you look at the SEC, they're going to beat the hell out of each other, but I got to believe, Scott, that there will be 4 SEC teams in the playoffs this year. Texas are making the playoffs. Georgia are still Georgia. I think Alabama are actually not quite as good as some people think they're going to be still. I think DeBoer still needs another year or 2 here to get his guys in place. I think their schedule is kind of tricky. Texas, Georgia, LSU are an outlier. It's just basically, I think, though, Scott, there's a lot of, good other teams and other conferences this year. You brought up the Big 12. I think we're going to get 2 for the Big 12 this year.
That's what stood out for me.
What do you think about that?
1.5 plus, they got it at 1.5 and plus 105 on the over. I agree
plus
with
money
Baylor.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I like Baylor. I love Texas Tech. I really do.
Utah,
this year.
Texas Tech got put $28 million into their payroll. They're paying their players $28 million this year. They're loaded. Wow. They're stacked with like they hit the transfer portal hard. Recruits. They're spending money. But yeah, the Utah Utes could be good. I think the 2 teams that make the Big 12 Conference Championship game will be in the playoffs, Scott. I like that over 1.5 there. I'd rather than worry about getting 4 teams in. You know what I mean?
Right. Arizona State's got everyone back except the running back, Scadaboo. I love the coach. Now, can they kind of duplicate that, Cinderella stuff from one year to the next? I don't know, but Iowa State,
Scott, all they do, Campbell does. Campbell wins 10 games every year. Iowa State, Scott, won 11 games last year. They're 3.5, 4-point underdogs against K-State on a neutral field next week in Ireland. I don't get that. It's Iowa State could win this game outright. It's not a shock. They're not getting a lot of respect, Iowa State. But like you said, the Houston Cougars and Willie Fritz are dangerous. Utah, we know, are really good. Baylor guys won 6 games in a row before they lost the bowl game last year to LSU to end the season. And they got their quarterback back and 4 to 5 offensive linemen. And they're going to be respected, Scott. You said it earlier. The Big 12, top to bottom, is the deepest conference. Big 10 and the SEC are top heavy, guys. It's called out for what it is. It's top heavy, right? The Big 12 is a bitch on a weekly basis, man. These teams can put points on the board.
You got 3 spots, Gabe, from last year that you're not going to get this year. You're not going to get Indiana. You're not going to get SMU again. And I don't think, I'm a Notre Dame fan, I don't think Notre Dame, I don't trust their quarterback situation. So you got 3 spots. Even if you got 4 out of the SEC, right, 3 at-large bids, that's still 4 at-large bids left. And I think it's only going to be Clemson out of the ACC. So you still got
That's the
4
one,
left.
too. Yeah, that's the one, Clemson. Scott, who, for the record, from a betting perspective, because of the odds, if you told me right now, Morency, who you taking to win the national championship? My hot, bold pick, Scott, the Clemson Tigers.
Because they
have everything in place. They have everything in place. Manageable schedule. experienced team in the playoffs last year. They're just loaded, Scott. And it's they don't even play Miami in a regular season, but I don't even think Miami are all that. But I'm just stating, maybe Louisville backdoor this thing. Maybe Louisville or this year's SMU, Scott.
Yeah, maybe. But I like that over 1.5 Big 12 either way. Game and I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 to 10 right here on the grid. Enjoy your Thursday, folks.